Project Playtime has suffered a massive decrease in players since their initial release. Despite Mob Entertainment releasing it just a few months ago, the lobbies are really small and games can take over 30 minutes to start. Upon launch, the game had thousands of players that wanted to begin playing like I did, but I was met with extreme disappointment, security breach, when I couldn't even load onto the server tab. My expectations were shattered on the very first day, after hours of just trying to launch the game without any success. Looking past these errors, Mob Entertainment had fixed most of the game's issues by the end of the week.
Huh? Oh! No, don't do it! Oh! Huh?
After this roller coaster of a launch, Project Playtime began to get a consistent player base, with lobbies that would fill up in a few minutes. However, as of late, the number of players in a lobby has dwindled, and the games take longer and longer to start. To begin, the game hit a major dent in activity from the very beginning because of all the annoying bugs. To be honest, I was about to quit and never open Project Playtime again after I spent half a day attempting to launch my game. Not just that, but when I went back to the application a week later, it still had tons of bugs. Now, I understand that multiplayer games may be a new genre for Mob Entertainment, but the quality of the game and the lack of bug fixes even a week after launch was appalling. Huggy Wuggy was T-posing, players were being clipped out of the map, and the entire game was unplayable for a good few days. After this disaster, the game resumed at a functioning version, and players, including me, were enjoying the effort that Mob Entertainment put into Project Playtime. But this moment of enjoyment and appreciation for the game was short-lived once December rolled by. While Christmas was approaching and every other game studio on the planet was planning big updates and events for their franchises, every Project Playtime fan also expected some sort of big update or reveal for the game. However, this was not the case. There were no new maps, monsters, or power-ups. Instead, Mob Entertainment released a few skins that cost real money to buy, and called it a wrap for 2022. This was one of the laziest updates that I have seen in a game company released during December. We got a lazily recolored Huggy with a Santa hat and some other small accessories which held no significance. No hate to the modelers, because I'm sure they put a lot of effort into it, but it was a very stupid idea to bundle every Christmas-themed item in a store bundle instead of making an event to obtain some of the skins. Continuing on the topic of no updates, it's currently February 2023, and not one content update has been added to the game since December. Seriously, Mob Entertainment, do better. Players won't continue to log on to a game that has had no changes in months, and possibly even years, if they don't start working on it more. Another major problem is the lack of any reason to actually play the game. When playing Dead by Daylight, Fortnite, or any other video game with a battle pass and progression system, your XP is decided on how much you accomplish certain features in the game, and the challenges that a user completes. One of these options is not possible though, because Project Playtime has no challenges available, despite there being a challenge tab, which doesn't even function. Aside from this issue, Project Playtime does not award XP for doing tasks or helping teammates, but instead gives XP based on the number of players in a lobby. That's right, you can be hiding in a locker all game and you'll get the same amount of XP as every other player. Instead of rewarding tasks with XP, Mob Entertainment gives you tickets to spend, which become useless after buying 3 perks. I have no idea how this XP system was approved, but it takes away from the core aspect of the game since players have no motivation to actually participate in a match. On the topic of perks, Project Playtime sets up the perk system so that the player no longer needs to spend any more tickets once they have power-ups for their character or monster. Tickets are the only free-to-play currency in the game, and their only use is buying perks. But because of the lack of updates since launch, every player has all the abilities they currently need, and there are no more updates or new abilities that will give tickets a use again. Additionally, some perks are completely outclassed by others too. Why buy a power-up for the memory task to make it longer when you can just get a perk that reduces the piano puzzle to 3 buttons? Some perks, like the one I just stated, affect the player more negatively than positively, and the lack of new perks has killed the use of tickets and the motivation to earn them. These problems with tasks, XP, and perks have made the gameplay system of Project Playtime repetitive, boring, and useless to participate in. Pushing the poor gameplay system aside, the sound effects of Project Playtime are also a major issue. Aside from Boxy-Boo, Huggy Wuggy and Mommy Longlegs are completely silent. Even if they're across a hallway or right next to you, there will be no audio indication that they are near. I've spent multiple games working on a task and almost finishing it, until Huggy Wuggy instantly kills me from behind because I couldn't hear him. These major gaps in gameplay and bugs should have been fixed months ago, but Mob Entertainment doesn't seem to care at all. Even after all these problems, a player could just load up into one of the many maps in the game and look at the different environments, right? Wrong. Since the very launch of the game, there have only been 2 maps, the theater and the factory. Now, I think both of these landscapes are really pretty and immersive. The factory has a dark and depressing theme which enhances the seriousness of the game, while the theater has a lighter tone and more space, which can benefit monsters like Boxy-Boo better. However, these maps have stayed the same since the release of the game, and no additional maps have been added either. Playing in the same environments can get stale fast, and cause the player burnout, and lead them to taking a break from Project Playtime altogether. Outside of the game itself, the server and lobby systems are also a big issue. Imagine playing a game for 15 minutes and getting every task done, when suddenly, the host leaves. All your progress goes down the drain because if the host leaves, the entire lobby is kicked from their game. This is one of the most annoying problems I have come across when playing Project Playtime. There have been too many times where I was in the middle of a match, and the game suddenly shut down because the host rage quit or had to go.
Bruh.
This feature punishes the player for doing nothing wrong, and is one of the many reasons why having individual lobbies is a bad idea, instead of matchmaking. If Mob Entertainment switched to random matchmaking like Dead by Daylight and other competitors, it would speed up the problem of dead lobbies, and get a lot of players back into the game. The 30-minute wait times for a match to start could be eradicated, and finding a lobby would no longer be a hassle, or even a task that players have to think of. The final major contributing factor to the death of the game is the fact that there is no punishment system put in place for AFK players, or users who continuously join and leave lobbies. These users take away a large amount of fun from the gameplay experience by making it harder to actually beat the monster, since they either leave and lower the amount of players alive, or they hide in a locker all game. This negatively affects the monster too, as the player can hide in a locker for over 15 minutes, and then hop on a train once the time runs out, or when all the tasks are done. Instead of players like these getting a timeout, they're freely able to continue ruining the game for others. From the very launch of Project Playtime, there have been bugs and problems that have plagued the fanbase and decreased the amount of active users. However, the broken mechanics, poorly made gameplay system, and lack of matchmaking and actual punishments for rule breakers has killed the overall popularity of the game and left it as a husk of its former self. I like the concept of Project Playtime, I really do, but Mob Entertainment has a ton of problems to fix and a lot of new content to add. I hope Mob Entertainment understands where I'm coming from and can learn from their mistakes and neglect of the game overall. I'm curious to see where the game leads, and if the staff team listens, I'll make an update video in the future, but good luck with that.